Now, I'll introduce you to someone who actually did more than read a book. And I want you to do more than read a book. I want you to start a group. I'm going to introduce you to Chase Cocking, who is one of my favorite people. He happens to be my son-in-law, but he read the book and is doing coaching and is helping men all around the country and world, actually. And I want to tap into why he started a freedom group and what he's learning in that so that you can know what ministry you can do. Chase, welcome to Healing Times.
It's great to be here.
Now, you started a freedom group for guys who are struggling.
Mm-hmm.
What did you learn in that process?
What I learned in the process of starting a freedom group is that men don't feel comfortable with accountability. And there's the Final Freedom book, and it talks about the reading and the prayer, and guys will do that. Where guys have hesitation is then coming forward with other men and being honest about their thoughts, about their behaviors, and about the struggles that they're facing in their journey.
I mean, I think men generally find this topic hard to be accountable to because we're never taught to. You know, our dads didn't hold us accountable, our friends didn't hold us accountable, even our pastors never held us accountable. What have you seen with the other guys? Because these guys they don't know each other. Right. It's not like the guys here where you're going to know your friends in your church and stuff like that, but they don't know each other. What have you seen them learn, or how they grew up even in this kind of like getting free? Because when you're stuck, I mean, you've heard the pain. They're stuck. Absolutely. They don't believe that there's even hope, you know? And then they tell us what you've seen as their kind of evolution in the group.
Yeah, I think that you really nailed it when you said that their fathers and their pastors don't hold them accountable. Growing up, nobody's holding them accountable. And so there's false beliefs, and there's things that are really harming them that they kind of adopt into their idea of sexuality. And when you get into a group with men who are in recovery, and you get into a group with men who have it figured out, or are really on that journey of figuring it out, these kind of irrational beliefs get dismantled. They get destroyed. Whether it's things like, well, it's okay for me to go to this website because it's not pornography, even if I know I'm going there for sexual purposes. Well, another man who's further along in that journey can say, no, you know what your mind is doing there.
Exactly.
You know what your purpose is. And being in the group is where they really get that challenge.
You're talking about men make men.
Yeah, yes.
You know, and that's one of the things, you know, and ladies, we love you so much, but you can't make a man. You know, and if you're a man and you're struggling, you need to be in a group like what we're talking about. And so maybe give me an example of maybe a guy calling a guy up. You know what I'm talking about? You know, and that's not confrontation. It's just like, hey, I'm calling you up to a better standard than you're holding yourself to.
Right. I would say an example of that is the guy that is defeated. The guy who thinks that, you know, everybody else in society, everybody else is doing pornography. They're off in the sexual sin. And so what's the point even anymore? And where I think the power of the group really shines in is when you have the guy that says, no, this is, as you put it, your DNA. God has this calling in your life to be free and to give you the spiritual authority that comes with being clean and free. And you have to rise up and achieve your calling. You have to rise up above this sexual sin. And it's not just everybody else. No, we're not comparing ourselves to everyone else. We're comparing ourselves to what God intended for us.
Yeah, I told my kids, never aim for normal. It's the wrong direction.
Okay. That's pretty much the spirit of it, right?
But, you know, one of the things we talk about, the 5 commandments: pray, read, call, meeting, pray. These guys are calling each other during the week. Do they ever talk about maybe some of the things they talk about on their phone calls? Like, hey, this week I called and I really needed to talk to John because, you know, he really either whooped me or he encouraged me or he just prayed for me and I cried. Like, you know, you know, give me some stories there or a story there.
Yeah, the group's one thing, getting all the guys together. There's some hesitation there. The calls, there is a lot of hesitation there. But you see the impact that the calls have because we'll be in the group and the guy will be talking about, I was on the wrong path. I was on vacation and we went to the beach and there was this trigger.
Lots of flesh there.
That couldn't get out of my mind. And I found myself alone in the whole hotel room. My family left and I called John up and I was like, John, I'm in trouble, right? And what the guys are able to do when you make that phone call during the week, they can refocus you. They can recenter you. They can pull these things that are tempting you out of your mind and rededicate you to where you're headed.
Yeah, you know, Scripture talks about if we confess our faults one to another, we can be healed. And that's what happens. You know, he's saying, you know, I'm in trouble, I'm hurting, you know, he's just confessing where he's at.
Right.
And then another brother can, like you said, go and reach in there and say, okay, that's where you're at, but here's where I am. Here's where I am right now. So come where I am. You know, you love your kids, you love your wife, you love Jesus. Okay? And Jesus is in the hotel room with you, and so are your angels, and don't make them look at porn. They hate when you look at porn. It's like, oh, I never even thought about that.
Right.
Right, because that's what that phone call brought into the hotel room. Okay, it brought the presence of God, it brought the awareness of God, it brought the awareness that I'm not alone, you know? And I got some brothers who, like, if I get kind of weak, I can kind of get nudged back to where I'm supposed to be, right? Now, they also do the steps there in the group, right? They present their steps, the 12 steps. 12 steps is like from Alcoholics Anonymous, but it's really important that men do these steps. What's maybe something you've seen happen in that process as guys share their steps?
When guys are sharing their steps there, depending on the step that it is and depending on the guy, you can see demonic strongholds absolutely demolished and conquered. The one that sticks out to me first is the first one, powerless. The admitting that you are powerless as an American, as a man who has all of these different lies being told to them, it can be liberating. And it's like the book is the final freedom. Well, powerless, the first step, that's the beginning to freedom.
Yeah. And these guys, they find it in the group. Encourage young men or even older men to start a group in their church or in their business.
Absolutely. If you're struggling with sexual sin, or if you're a man and you think that you've conquered it, you need to take it serious. And one way that you can do that is to be accountable. You have to be accountable with other men in your church. You have to be accountable with other men in your families. Start groups. Get together. Be accountable.
Absolutely. And Chase, I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for doing the groups, because I know you've been doing them for a while. And I want to encourage you, here at Healing Times, we're not here just to have you listen to us. We're here to stimulate you to do your ministry. So please, guys, every church should be a hospital, and your pastor's not going to start a freedom group. It's not his job. It's your job. So please open your home, open your business, open your church to have some men be totally sexually free their entire lives.